All right, let's jump right into this explainer and uncover how you can completely transform your financial future. We're going to break down the actual mechanics of shifting from a poor mindset, the one characterized by limitation and fear, to a genuinely wealthy mindset built on abundance and action. It's a fascinating journey, and honestly, it really does start entirely from within. We've got a really clear roadmap today. We'll cover 1, the wealthy mindset shift, 2, the 4 fundamentals of wealth, 3, practical budgeting and assets, and 4, cultivating an abundance mindset. Now, we are pulling these insights straight from the Wealth Bible, which is a fantastic guide that emphatically proves wealth starts in the brain, not the bank. The core premise here is wild but true. Your current economic state actually has no real influence on whether you'll ultimately be financially successful. It all begins with your mental foundation. But before we even touch on the mechanics of money, we have to define our ultimate goal. Like, what are we actually aiming for here? True financial empowerment. This means being so completely self-sufficient with your finances that your coffers are just full. You aren't constantly wanting for more. Instead, you become economically dynamic. You're using the money you already have to effortlessly attract even more money. Okay, Section 1, the wealthy mindset shift. You might be wondering, what actually separates the ultra-successful from everyone else who just feels stuck? Well, the source material is crystal clear on this. The wealthy simply think differently. It's an inescapable fact. They have a completely different approach to how they plan, how they manage their money, and crucially, how they calculate and embrace risks. This quote right here hits the nail on the head. Think about it. How often do we hear people say, "Oh, I just don't have the income to invest"? The text calls us out as a convenient excuse. It's just a way to hide safely inside your comfort zone. Overcoming those limiting beliefs and actually being willing to step into the unknown, that is literally your very first prerequisite for building wealth. Notice the stark psychological differences here. A poor mindset is infected by what the author calls an evil rumor, this complete lie that there just isn't enough to go around. Not enough money, not enough food, not enough success. A wealthy mindset utterly rejects that. It operates on the core truth that there is more than enough for everybody. Changing your mindset means actively embracing this idea of limitless abundance, because abundance thinking is exactly what attracts success. But hey, having an abundance mindset doesn't mean just sitting on the couch dreaming. There is a massive gulf between ability and action. You might have all the talent in the world, but if you choose a humdrum, safe job purely out of fear, well, that talent goes to waste. The text uses some incredible examples for this. J.K. Rowling wouldn't be a multimillionaire if she hadn't relentlessly pursued her penchant for writing. Barack Obama had to actively implement his immense leadership potential. Executing on your potential through deliberate, courageous action, that is what actually creates wealth. Which brings us to Section 2, 4 fundamentals of wealth. To achieve long-term financial empowerment, you need to arm yourself with these 4 fundamentals. First, assets. And we're talking both material things and non-material things like the support of a great spouse. Second, education. Not just a fancy college degree, but practical knowledge. Honestly, even reading a software manual that boosts your career counts. Third, investment. Securing your money for the long run so it actually compounds. And fourth, surprisingly, recreation. Because every book you read, every movie you watch, it enriches your mind, keeping you healthy and stable enough to maintain your economic standing. Let's zoom in on that first fundamental, assets. To actually increase your net worth, you absolutely must learn the language of investing. You need to focus on acquiring these 3 specific types of equity-building assets. We've got paper assets like shares and bonds, real property like residential or commercial real estate, and business assets, whether you start a business, purchase one, or rent one out. Acquiring knowledge in these specific categories is how you genuinely build riches. All right, Section 3, practical budgeting and assets. Take a look at this shocking number, 105%. That represents how much of their net income the ordinary individual is spending. Yep, 105%. That means the average person is literally drowning in debt. And unless that debt is specifically used for building assets, what the text calls beneficial debt, it is actively destroying your financial future. But there's absolutely a way out of that trap. You have to commit to a spending plan where you only spend what you have and you save or invest the rest. The baseline suggestion here is to save at least 10% of your net income. And if you have debt, you absolutely must tackle the loan with the highest rate of interest first, usually those credit cards, and pay it down month by month until it is totally gone. It sounds basic, but taking control is actually super simple. Creating an effective budget plan is the core of financial freedom. Step 1, list your income and expenses. Step 2, list all your regular bills. Step 3, account for lifestyle expenses, groceries, movies, haircuts. Finally, step 4, subtract those expenses from your income. If you're over budget, you have to make some hard choices and cut back. Simple sacrifices like skipping that daily cappuccino, they make a massive difference to your net position by the end of the month. Now, if budgeting feels like pulling teeth, the Text offers the ultimate hack, the automatic savings plan. Setting up an automatic deduction from your paycheck straight into an investment or savings account completely removes the temptation to overspend. You never even see the money hit your checking accounts. It painlessly builds your long-term nest egg and enforces some strict personal discipline. Moving into our final section, Section 4, Cultivating an Abundance Mindset. First things first, continuous professional education. You have to constantly educate yourself on money matters. Why? Because you can only attract and keep the level of wealth you actually know how to manage. If you suddenly earn a massive amount of money but lack financial literacy, you're going to be broke again before you know it. Continuous education builds your confidence, and as you successfully manage small amounts of cash, you'll naturally attract opportunities to manage much larger amounts. You also need to bake in these essential daily rituals to build sustainable long-term habits. First is visualization, focusing your daily attention on the exact future you want, rather than dwelling on what you don't want. Second is tithing, giving a portion of your money away. This is incredibly powerful because it physically amazes your brain cells with the idea that supply is unlimited. You give freely because you know more is coming. And third, networking. Associating with successful people accelerates your personal financial growth. Take a wealthy person out to lunch, ask for their advice, and soak up a first-hand education on success. So what are we ultimately building toward? True wealth isn't just about the dollar amount in your 401k. The text insists that having piles of money but failing health, that's not true wealth. True wealth is a life of total profusion. Boundless, mutually valuable relationships where everyone gets more than they put in. Excellent physical health so you can actually enjoy your life. And a deep sense of spirituality or purpose. That is the whole shebang. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to look inward. The human mind can do so much more than we can possibly fathom, but we have to take control of it. So ask yourself, what is the single biggest limiting belief holding you back from your prosperous future right now? And more importantly, what specific action are you going to take today to step outside your comfort zone and claim the abundance that is waiting for you?